Hello and welcome to St. Lucia's COVID-19 response report for today, Friday, the 29th of May, 2020. My name is Jessie Leonce and I'm joined in studio by my colleague Carlton Cyril as we bring you the latest updates as it pertains to our response to this coronavirus. We are in wake today of Parliament's approval to extend the state of emergency for a further 4 months up to September 30th. Also, this weekend, 31st of May, will be observed a World No Tobacco Day. The government breaks ground for the commencement of the shock housing development. We have an outlay of vision for the project that we're going to share with you this morning. Also, the Spring Road Rehabilitation Project in Miku South is fully underway, as well as the completion of the Jackmill Field, as well as work on the Vanna Field commencing. Blackstone Road as well, that rehabilitation project continues to progress. You're seeing a lot of capital projects underway here in St. Lucia. As mentioned under the Social Stabilization Plan, all efforts to stimulate our economy right now, considering what we're faced with, considering how crippling COVID-19 was to our economy from its onset. We do hope you can stay tuned for more to come as we bring you these developments for the next hour and a half or so. Do stay tuned. Carlton, I know we have a guest this morning, Ms. Naomie Grandison. She will be back in here to speak to us about the importance of healthy practices at this time, and also speaking on the World No Tobacco Day. We talk about staying healthy lifestyles. You know, the strength of a virus in one's body depends heavily on our level of immunity. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, no stranger to us here, of course, Miss Naomie, and of course, she will be joining us. Comme on dit bonjour et merci encore, ou kay observer nous vie ici, après jour parlement, avec un chai développement, parmi eux, nous kawé, les vini pour étayer di soukwa, nous kawé ça, tout fait quoi ajouter. Bonjour et merci encore, nom c'est Carlton Cyril, plus mais connaître qu'on Cooks, nous ici à Headquarters COVID-19, qu'on nous avons information développement qu'on y pour faire et puis Covid parmi les bagages nous kay discuter bon matin les vini comme bien dit état di soukwa ka trouver quoi ajouter jodia yo ka observer qu'on joue pour pas fumer pièces tabac nous kay aussi les vini pour projet c'est projet ça qu'on kay bien savent qu'on y pour faire puis 20 000 pandémique Covid. Et puis, manière, Premier ministre bas plan pour mener l'économie à sous pied, en chaque projet, nous kay mettre clété à sous ça, parmi l'autre bagaille qu'on nous dit, pour nous, yon monde qui vient parler, puis nous guest nous, bon matin, parmi l'autre bagaille. Toujours un plaisir. Bonjour pour ces gens noirs sur Facebook, pour vous qui écoutez nous sur radio, nous dit bonjour. Pour ces gens noirs qui l'autre pays, nous avons dit bonjour de manière qui spéciale. À son vendredi bon matin, aujourd'hui c'est le 29 mai. Merci tellement. Headquarters COVID, ici à Studio GIS-NTN.
Yes, as Carlton said, we're coming to you live from the Information Command Center from the GIS studios. We do hope you're having a good day at TGIF, and we hope you enjoy the weekend. We are still under a state of emergency and will be until the 30th of September. And we hope that you take all the necessary precaution to protect yourself and your family at this time of the COVID-19 threat. When we come back, we have the details to these latest developments, these latest stories. We hope you can stay tuned for that and more.
Hello everybody, the secret is out.
What could that secret be?
We're starting a smoke-free generation with you.
You. And you. May 31st is World No Tobacco Day all over the world.
The Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat of the Department of Health and Wellness wants everyone
to live well,
healthy, and long.
Wow! Let's join this movement. Say no to smoking. Inhaling any kind of smoke is bad for your health.
Don't use any electronic cigarettes.
Don't smoke in public places or workplaces. Parfime, trail.
Let's make every day World No Tobacco Day.
This message is brought to you by the Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat and this station.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. And during the break there, you would have seen a PSA, and that is a part of the observance of World No Tobacco Day. It is observed around the world every year on the 31st of May, and this yearly celebration informs the public on the dangers of using tobacco, the business practices of tobacco companies, what the World Health Organization is doing to fight the tobacco epidemic, and what people around the world can do to claim their right to health and healthy living and to protect future generations. We have a clip from Mr. Joanna Joseph Henry, and she's the Deputy Coordinator from the Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat. She's also the tobacco focal point for St. Lucia as we observe World No Tobacco Day. We go to the first clip.
Well, the World Health Organization selected the theme this year to center around youth and their protection. And so the theme this year is preventing... Oh Lord. Cut. Look, I forget. I remembered it well. Okay, yeah, I remember. Alright. I good where I am?
Yeah, okay.
Preventing youth from industry manipulation and preventing them from nicotine and tobacco use. And this is really important because over the last year or maybe 2 years, we have seen a change in the tobacco products that are being manufactured, and the increased use of those new devices. We call them hookahs. Some of them are called hookahs. Some of them are the electronic cigarettes. There's juuling. There's a whole lot of other of these heated devices that are being labeled and being advertised as safe to use and cool among young people. We know in St. Lucia the use of those devices is on the rise among our young people, and so we are really concerned when we see the damage and death, lung diseases, etc. that have happened over the last year, especially in the States. We're really concerned about our young people, and we need them to know that no matter what it's advertised as, it is just that, an electronic cigarette, just as dangerous and in some ways maybe even more so than the traditional cigarettes.
Apologies for that break in the interview there. I just want to let you know that it is important to remember the day. World No Tobacco Day. Tobacco is one of the leading causes of death, the only product when used as directed, as the focal point for St. Lucia just stated. It is the only product that when used directly can kill half of its users. And the focus this year is on the youth. We're seeing the increase of not just the normal typical cigarettes, we're seeing also the increase in the use of the hookahs and the electronic cigarettes. And if we want to talk about electronic cigarettes right now, it was originally designed as a healthier alternative to traditional cigarettes, but it turns out that smoking e-cigarettes can commonly known as vaping, it does have its own risks as well. And if we could go back to the CDC, if I could reference the CDC in the US, they began tracking cases of severe lung problems in people known as vapors, and thousands had lung damage. They needed treatment in hospitals, and several died from the condition. Eventually, researchers tied these cases to vaping. The illness is now called e-cigarette or vaping product use associated lung injury. That's E-Valley, or having vape lung, essentially. And just want to let you know, as we continue to be on the lookout for this COVID-19 threat, it is important to take all the necessary measures, and part of that is a healthy lifestyle. You know, contracting a virus, we need to keep our bodies as clean as possible, as healthy as possible. We need to put in the good foods, Carlton. We need to try as much as possible, if you have a habit of smoking, to break the habit right now. We need to improve our immunity to any virus that we potentially can come into contact with. And right now, we're trying to stave off COVID-19.
Definitely, and of course, well said, just especially in a pandemic right now. Kongrès savent, monsieur, nous avons information avec développement qu'on a fait, nous avons sous sujet du tabac. Pour vous qui pas nous avons jodia, pas jodia, mais les 31 mai, changer date là, ça c'est un jour qu'on observe pour moun pas servi tabac. Et c'est un jour tous les l'année, les 31 mai, ou ka ouais yo observer jou ça kon jou pour moun pas servi tabac. Là ou te kay ouais là il vini pour madame nan qui c'est un coordinateur des substances abusement substance et il était capable là ça c'est Joanna Joseph Henry et quand parmi bagay il a dit et moun supposé si rien changer là ou servi tabac danger servi tabac là ma besoin de cancer qui associé TP là et puis manière qui a affecté foie mais yon a ces bagay là il parle sur les quand chaidi nous kay savent c'est là il vini pour en manière fumer tabac qui vini qui neuf ou kay absorber yon a petit bagay électronique à présent qui yo ka fumer avant yo te ka fait avertissement pour dire comme si dit ça simple manière pour fumer mais ça nous ka tan organisation qui est responsable là il vini pour ka di fumer et sous matière comme CDC yo commencé à faire investigation yo yon a ces bagay là yo trouvé à kadi en chay moun trouvé foie yo dommagé as a résultat de ça question c'est qui ça ou ça fait messieurs dames pour empêcher ou tomber en bas l'habitude ça yon a ces bagay là qui bien bon pour ça date qui a pas dit et c'est mon te ka dit moun sa fumer ti by électronique ça yo ka crier en anglais vaping a pas dit ça mène tellement l'autre trois cas yo ka dit ou ça si oui là ou fumer tabac là a dit mi c'est moun nan qui ka fumer là kay mort quoi qui ça supposé faire nous toujours ka dit ici écoutant Jesse bien répété là il vini pour bonne santé là il vini pour faire assurer ou ka manger bien ou ka dormir bien et puis ou ka tien corps en dans santé ça c'est première manière pour vous peut combattre pièces qualité vermine pièces qualité disease et ben pièces qualité l'habitude ou péni yon a c'est plus bon bail ça fait bail quoi c'est à vous doit et bien empêcher corps involver activité qu'on mais en plus faire assurer ou tien corps en santé bien manger bien dormir exercise tout ça qu'a fait assurer ou tien body en bonne condition. Quoi pas oublier date là, le 31 mai, jour qui yo observé pour personne en nous pas servi et ben fumer tabac.
We have a second clip from Mr. Joseph Henry speaking on the activities that have been scheduled for this year's observance of World No Tobacco Day.
I guess everybody remembers last year all of our hype and the action and the drama with the World Health March and the World No Tobacco Day March and the rallies, and it was really, really exciting last year, but apparently COVID had a different plan for us this year, so we've had to adjust and focus more on these sorts of activities, virtual activities and messages across, you know, other forms of media, social media especially, so that we can still get the message out. And so we can look forward to seeing some new ads out, and there will be what we call some Zoom meetings that will be aired, and a lot of messages going out on Facebook. So we would like persons, when they get the videos and the messages, to, you know, share, pass along. Let's all play our part this year in passing along the message, in us being aware of the dangers, reminding ourselves of the dangers of tobacco use, and being aware of the changes and not allowing industry manipulation to, you know, influence our way of thinking and you know, accepting that tobacco is okay, because it's not.
That was Mrs. Joanna Joseph Henry, the Deputy Coordinator in the Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat, also the focal point for this activity, World No Tobacco Day. We continue with this morning's programming to remind you that the extension of the state of emergency has been approved by Parliament, the House of Assembly, and in the Senate. Just to read, it is resolved that Parliament further extends for an additional period commencing from the 1st day of June 2020 and ending on the 30th of September 2020 in accordance with Section 17.6 of the Constitution of St. Lucia, Cap 101, the Constitution of St. Lucia, extension of Resolution of Parliament approving declaration of state of emergency passed as statutory instrument number number 60 of 2020 that extended the state of emergency for an additional period commencing from the 27th day of April 2020 and ending on the 31st day of May 2020. So it was passed, it has been gazetted. It was passed in the House of Assembly on the 26th of May, that was earlier this week, and just yesterday it was passed in the Senate, the 28th day of May 2020. So we're looking at another 4 months after this weekend, another 4 months of a state of emergency. And if you go onto the Office of the Prime Minister's Facebook page, and we will be speaking more about it, we do encourage you to tune in tomorrow for our weekend review, where we will be delving into the reasons, the several reasons for the extension of the state of emergency. Primarily being that the government of St. Lucia needs to move expeditiously. Should we perhaps, God forbid, find ourselves in a situation where we have a cluster of cases, we have another outbreak of COVID-19, perhaps, God forbid, worse than we initially saw. The government of St. Lucia needs to move quickly. The health authorities need to move very quickly in response to whatever COVID-19 brings our way. We're hearing from the experts, both here and abroad, that we're facing another 2 years of active, COVID-19 alert. And some experts are stating that we will need to live with COVID-19. It will no longer be a threat in just this time. It will become endemic, and we need to learn to live with it. And we're seeing, while we're opening the country and the borders are reopening, we'll be entering phase 4, where we have full resumption of our economic activity in the first week of June. The state of emergency will still persist. And this is because if we reopen our borders, we have persons coming in, we're increasing the threat, the likelihood of another COVID-19 outbreak in St. Lucia. We must try to bring our economy back to what it was. At the same time, we need to be on alert. And the state of emergency is another measure that has been taken by the government of St. Lucia to keep on alert and be able to quickly respond to any eventuality as it pertains to COVID-19. So passed in the House of Assembly, the House of Representatives on Tuesday, the wee hours of Wednesday morning, and passed in the Senate on the 28th day of May 2020. That was yesterday in the upper house.
Ka continuer ici à Jesse, merci tellement, et puis développement on a changé qu'on était bien savent hier nous était en caille concite et puis la gouvernement a essayé ajouter état de secours pour en addition de 4 mois. Là nous résolution ça a trouvé quoi présenté et qui déjà passé les vini pour les 26 qui était mardi les 26 là où le gouvernement présenté parmi motion était puis discussion allée et puis hier en Sénat là les 28 quoi ni les vini pour monsieur Andy Daniel qui c'est Speaker House là et président Sénat là qui c'est Maze Jenny Edwarou ou kaiwe yo tous les décider à sous document ça pourquoi à présent ou kay savent nous trouver qu'on est dans situation côté gouvernement j'ai ajouté et qui a une permission ça hot kay concite il j'ai ajouté état de secours qui a commencé le 1er juin pour les 30 septembre qui sous compté 4 mois. Quand je suis bien dit, nous avons un pli détaillé puis ça demain si Dieu veut qu'on nous visiter tout ça qui fait pour semaine ça qui passé nous avons discuter en détail. Mais en tout, ou kay savent raison qui te bail là kay consiste parmi l'autre bagaille, c'est ou kay savent nous après ça quand entrer nous avons quitté phase 3 qu'entrer en phase 4 qui nous kay l'école qu'a ouvert parmi l'autre bagaille hôtel airport qu'a ouvert quand après sans considération il y en a ces bagaille là nous attend chef médical officier qui c'est Dr Belma George et puis comment centre là ça yo ka dit c'est nous ka expecter qu'on nous ka faire ça pour nous peut-être kay plus monde peut-être peut trouver corps yo affecté quand pour raison ça nous ni pour mettre corps nous en guerre en parmi l'autre bagaille il y en a c'est l'autre raison qui bail c'est au cas changer ces gens Cuba c'est docteur Cuba qui vient ba nous assistance tout temps nous ba état de secours ça oui te ba nous assistance ça mais si ouais ni pour vie si nous pas ni état de secours c'est moun ça kay vie encore si rien ni pour fait et nous ni pour faire si nous traiter matière c'est ben nous assez mon a sous pays ben docteur pour agir puis situation ça nous kay briser c'est moun ça là quoi tout fait quoi informer gouvernement a une permission et puis résolution tout fait quoi passer quoi là venir le 1er juin pour les 30 septembre on kay état de soukounou et tout fait quoi ajouter pour un lot 4 mois. Quand nous bien dit demain si je voulais se joindre et puis nous kay en détail qu'on nous ka normal fait en samedi.
We are not in the clear yet. Those are the words spoken by the Honorable Prime Minister during his statement on the reason for the petition to extend the state of emergency. We are not in the clear yet. We're trying to find a way, find a groove, find our space in what will be something that is endemic to St. Lucia, this deadly COVID-19 virus. Find our way, coexist with COVID-19. Thus, the reopening of our economy fully in the first week of June, entering phase 4 then, and that is our recovery period. And as we do that, we still will be on alert. The state of emergency has just been approved this week for the extension of the extension of the state of emergency into 30th September. So we do hope you continue to observe all of the protocols as outlined under the curfew order going forward. Again, May 31st, Sunday, will be observed as World No Tobacco Day. We do encourage you to stay away from smoking. It is the only product at this time that when used in the correct way that the manufacturers have given it, that you will certainly die. Half of the individuals will certainly die from it. So having the traditional cigarettes, vaping, the hookahs, all of it is strongly discouraged at this time. That word coming there from the Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat, especially as we are on alert for COVID-19. When we come back, we speak to Ms. Naomie Grandison. She is the Family Life Educator from the Bureau of Health. I'm going to speak to us on continued measures at this time to keep COVID-19 at bay, especially as we reopen our borders. And later on in the broadcast, we speak about some of the infrastructural projects that are ongoing, chief among them being the groundbreaking ceremony that was held yesterday for the commencement of the Shock Housing Development. We're going to talk about how it will be benefiting St. Lucia when it is complete. Do stay tuned for those developments and more coming up in just a moment.
Sanitizer, better yet use soap and water.
We must protect each other if we are to beat this corona.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for St. Lucia. Together let us win this war. Be a soldier, together we can beat this corona.
So you don't become the next case. Avoid touching your face. I'm sure you've been told so. Handshakes and hugging around, no, no.
Advice give you the please. Cover your mouth and your nose if you cough or sneeze.
Practice social distancing and avoid large social gatherings.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for St. Lucia. Together together let us win this war. St. Lucia be a soldier, together we can beat this corona.
For further information, please contact the hotline at 311 or the Bureau of Health Education at 468-5349.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. We are in the wake of the parliamentary approval of the state of emergency from now this weekend until the 30th of September. We are under a state of emergency until the 30th of September. Please take note as we continue to be very vigilant at this time of the COVID-19 threat. At this time, we have in studio Ms. Naomie Grandison. She's the Family Life Educator from the Bureau of Health, and it's not her first rodeo with us. A special morning to you.
Good morning, Jesse. Good morning, Carlton. So today I'm in the center.
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
Becoming much more part of the family
And
day by day.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here.
Wonderful. We've had you 2 times prior to today, twice prior to today, and just giving us general information on ways in which we can keep safe from COVID-19 and delving into the psychosocial impact, it's the psychosocial impact of COVID-19 on our society. Today, I just want to speak on the extension. We're going to get into what is the main thing today for me is the World No Tobacco Day. But we're extending the state of emergency, and a lot of persons are a bit anxious. You know, what does this mean? And it's being even perceived by some of what I'm getting perceived in the wrong way. And the government of St. Lucia has expressed that it is to continue to remain on alert. We need to continue to be vigilant. As I mentioned earlier to Carlton, that, you know, the experts are talking about us being on alert for the next 2 years. And even becoming endemic to our environment. We having to learn to live with COVID-19. Can you speak to the anxieties that may be faced at this time? You know, with this extension, it's 4 months. It's never been as long. We sought an extension, I believe, for the last 2 months in the first instance, a little over a month. Can you just speak to this situation? What may be going through people's heads, you know, at this time?
Well, whenever we hear the word emergency, you understand what I'm saying? It's something significant, something that would create some sort of uncertainty and quite a bit of fear and nervousness. So, I mean, if you were sick and you fell ill or a family member fell ill, that state of emergency, oh my God, something terrible, maybe life would be lost or whatever. So that releases a number of hormones in the system, all right? So you have the noradrenaline and the adrenaline that can create a level of overactivity in your nerves and in your mind. And it is sort of like, let's say a pit bull is running after you, right? And there's a threat, and there's a level of fight or flight, and there's a level of uncertainty about what is going to happen, and your body tries to help you by releasing these hormones in order for the overthinking, the tension in the muscles, and all these things is really supposed to help you to come up with a plan to face that potential threat. Now there's another one. There's what I would call a perceived threat. And maybe with the situation you're talking about, Jesse, there's a perceived threat because right now it seems that things are much better in terms of the statistics in St. Lucia as the COVID-19. So that can create a bit of confusion for people because, okay, one, things look good, and now there's a state of emergency. So you find it causes a sense of, should I be afraid or what do I feel? Confusion. So this confusing feeling can be a mix of that. How do you manage that? You understand what I'm saying? So it's not just a certainty of this is the problem, but how do you manage that? So what can we do? We have to acknowledge that COVID-19 has come in waves in many countries. Things seem nice and calm, and then suddenly it could spike. And with the country opening up, we are now more vulnerable. So hopefully these anxiety feeling, which is always natural, it's natural for us to feel a sense of anxiety, could be a source of I should say, motivation. It should help us. Tell yourself that this feeling I'm having is to help me to manage the situation or the potential situation that we may face. So there still remains a potential threat. We are still at risk. So what can I do? So let's move into solution rather than problem. I think the last time we spoke a little bit about that. We tend to be problem focused, potential problem focused. Now, I think with the state of emergency, a lot of things can be done to mitigate if there is a problem. They may not be so much so now, but if there is a problem, something can be done quickly. So people will have different opinions, but focusing on solution, and we've spoken about a lot of those solutions over and over again. But some people cannot help themselves, Jesse, and le nou gade situasyon, dele a moun ka ese, yo ka ese pou kam koyo, ek pou kam sevel yo, me i difficile. So, ki sa ou ka di moun sa la pou really calm yo, pou yo ni focus, pou address situation. So Carlton will help me with that. You know, to address the situation, because sometimes the anxiety, when it is too much or it's not managed properly, it can cripple you rather than motivate you to face the situation. It can keep you in a problem-minded state.
Et puis, si vous avez un ça qui a fait ici à bon matin, quand la coutume, moi je l'ai dit, nous sommes ici à yon qui a indiqué mon les vini pour bureau santé et qui a avec bureau santé et qui a venu ici avec parmi bagay j'ai parlé c'est manière pour manager situation nous a parlé de pandémie Covid là et là dans chaque bagay especially c'est bagay social la manière moun ka parler puis on a l'autre et les vini pour moun avec sentiment yo pour venir pour maintenant qui manière ou même qu'à manager manière ou senti les venir pour maintenant et y en a ces points il a fait qui bien important là bon matin il a dit si un monde pas manager nous savons situation côté moun ça quitté bagay ça trois cassé et menacé tellement date qui il trouvait quoi en condition côté il même toujours somme et ou ça dans l'autre situation côté moun si yo pas manager manière ou ka senti c'est comme si yo trouver quoi dans situation ko yo pas mêlé mais ça il a dit c'est ça supposé c'est ou supposé ver qui ça ou ça fait et servir information ni servir situation pour manager situation il pas supposé yon côté ou pas tellement pas vle faire rien et ben on pas mêler tellement quoi on pas ka prendre action et donc pour balancer DA quand laisse ça nous nous combattre ben nous une manière pour abattre pandemic COVID là. Of course, we are speaking of, and Jesse rightly said so, l'avini pour nous turn affaires, mi après le Premier ministre l'a demandé pour mon ikaché pour y ajouter état de secours qui voulait dire nous à présent 4 mois. Tout le monde a dit pour qui ça nous a fait ça qui ça n'a fait mi à présent il a fait mes places là et qu'à présent Premier ministre là est-ce que ça ou même dit nous pour qui ça moun ka senti kon et puis qui ça moun ça fait bon exemple qui ça ou ça fait les vini pour moi ka dit bon qui ça n'a fait et comme on te dit dernière fois yo nan c'est pas gay la conseil moun toujours ni bon là yo fait ça qui moi ka travail bon mi à présent là pas mi yo ka mener moun sorte là mais week en place là ou ça les moun ka parler con c'est majorité moun c'est ça ou ka tan yo ka dit mi côté qui pli corona c'est la mais week et mi yo vle mener ici est-ce que ça ben nous exemple dit nous qui ça quoi moun ça fait parce que nous pièce pas nous réponse là quand même mais nous cacher en manière pour faire assurer nous combattre avec manager
et là nous ka parler par exemple moi ni a situation et then moi quoi c'est si moi fait catcher les ben moi you know quarrel or we babier ben just rester like pour whole journée à faire catcher moi quoi ça c'est manière moi ka manager mais pas a bonne manière so quand nous là ici et de leur parler by a moun et moun ka dit a lot manière pour garder situation aussi et then pour ou même dit OK pour call Ah, moi ça pour ça c'est un bon parler mon
un bon expérience par exemple.
Right, un bon exemple. Mais many pour parler sur l'inspiration, peut-être mon pas ka dire quoi. Manière nous ka pour l'inspiration. The way we breathe can help us to cope and to help our mind to settle. Because you at times when you hear that thing, there's an emergency, work and all these things, people might be coming in and you know all these statistics from America, and I mean it's really bad. You can there is something that happens in your body, and you sometimes don't take enough air, enough oxygen for your mind, for your brain. And so that makes it difficult to cope and to face the situation in a level-headed manner. So for instance, like, ou pour l'exploration, ou chebe, eke ou release li pa bouchou.
Bon, là, on va point panneau.
Ou ça point panneau. Point panneau, chebe, eke release li pa bouchou. Puis, même si vous faites top kachil, eh ben ou pas fait top kachil, situation, c'est situation.
Ok, bah moi comprendre ça au cas dia parce moi observer Jessie là qui prend l'inspiration qu'on a dit ça quand il a aussi qu'à travail quand moi de camando les monde concernés tellement ça au cas dia conseil là qu'a bail lancer date qui en nous pas toi casser quoi nous trop et ben tellement date qui nous prend ça qui a fait là en la peine. Nous n'avons pas dit dans nous 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 pas parler by personne et ben pas point tellement date qui ou pas mêler mais ça au cas dire par exemple il bon pour mon parler joindre un monde où ça parler et puis mais nous a dit chain distance social là mais oui chain distance social là et vous a dit un petit exercice qui bien bon c'est les monde qui a inspiré et on prend l'inspiration ni petit temps ça pour prendre l'inspiration et vous a prendre par néon chebe youdi et puis vie la jey pa bouchou.
Oui.
Un bagay simple quoi.
Un bagay simple quoi. Oui, puis nous ici ici nous pas aimer de les parler by a moon right away. De les nous pas nous aimer chen bagay dedans nous. De les pas nous la ni deti bagay nous ça fait avant un moon directement aller parler by Jean yo ça fait bagay pour just calm yo pour aider yo pour ni plus confiance un moment right et then la ni bagay ko l'exploration point pour combien temps on pour point pour joindre un petit relax ko
quand ça supposé ba un petit soulagement un bagay bien simple et ou dit ça ka fait ça ka l'au point l'expiration on va prendre oxygène dans dedans et pour raison il bon pour cerveau il bon pour dedans et ça même ka ba un petit soulagement c'est ça on va dire bien simple quoi
un bagay bien simple quoi de là nous pas ka chiller et pour dire et ben pour mettre télévision off pour moment top news qui about bad things you understand
ouais just un nouvelle bagay qui mauvais seulement
oui et garder sur internet là pour situation les moins stress les moins ni perwez qui ça moi ça fait là ni autant information sur internet là à sur manière pour manager bagay opposed to à sur qui ça qui pas bon qui ça qui situation qui ka fait ni perwez là so où ça fait ça aussi et là ni bagay moi aussi vle mener garder qui ça ou ni a ek just qui ça au pani mais pani travail là mais pani ça pour l'argent qui ça qui fait qui pas bon you alright mais shift your focus shift your focus to what it is I have
mon kai qui j'ai payé
right
famille moi personne pas malade.
Et aussi ça on y a dedans tout.
Oui,
le Jessie de la nous ka oublier. We sometimes forget that we have talents and we have skills and we have ability and we have friends and we have family. What do we have? What are our resources so that we can deal with the potential problem or the problem now? Like literally put your mind there. If this would happen when the people come, what are the resources that I have to attend to it? If it if it might happen, what I can do to prevent it? What are the resources that I have? Do I have a piece of tissue that I can make a mask with? Do I know somebody that has a mask? Do I have somebody I can talk to from the ministry? Do I have the 311 number? It's like a number of things that we have. Do I have the ability to paint? Can I sing? Can I crack jokes like Cokes? You know? Can you tell me some of the things that you do when you stress?
You know, very important before we answer that question. Imagine what came to mind was imagine Jessie remembered that suggestion you gave her and that information where we say, you know, put things into practice. We were trying to advise persons as to maintaining protocol, wearing the mask, washing your hands, and then, I mean, it came back and Jessie was saying, if you find it difficult to do, just go ahead and practice doing it. When you're washing your hand, just practice doing the washing. And I found myself, even after that speech, going to the bathroom and washing my hand, and I have my fingers literally like this in the palm of my hand, and I'm saying, where's our Grandison? So I guess the point is practice makes perfect. If we put it into practice, if we try doing it, for example, the breathing, something so simple, you would say, qu'est-ce ça qu'a fait pour moi? Ou ka di moi tout toi cassement moi, ou ka di moi esprit ekvier lager vent moi pour l'expiration moi, ek ça ka aider moi. Chebe pour quantité longtemps moi ça ekvier lager. I mean, but going back to your question, what do you do? For me,
when you feel tension and
for
stress.
Me, when I feel is a workout.
Okay, wonderful.
Now, no smile, Jessie, but
not to smile.
Naomie, you're making the point about gratitude, you know, at this time as part of coping for with the situation, and looking at what resources you have at your disposal, talent and otherwise. And I want to just bring up to you know, Twitter fingers. You know, everybody has been feverishly typing in their lives, and they want to know what's going on. And we have the very active groups on social media and so on. Persons want to know what's going on, and on the flip side, we're seeing many companies just arising out of the ash of, you know, the COVID fallout of persons making use of the online platform to have their businesses and so on. So can you speak to the emergence of these things as well?
Right. I'm so happy you mentioned that, because here, for instance, we have singers, we have other people who are into raising funds, coming to do something. We have even radio stations doing things differently, TV stations doing things differently. So you find that this challenge with COVID-19 offers us an opportunity to become more resourceful, to become more innovative, to challenge us, to create a new avenue for us, so much so that it can even be a new source of income. So when the times we are stressed out and the pressure, we can birth something. Something can be birthed out of that. Something that can sustain us, if it's not financially, but emotionally and spiritually. So it's almost like COVID can be, the situation with COVID-19 can be a source of growth for you. It can be even your helper indirectly. It helps you to become more aware about germs in the air. It helps you to become more ingenious in your thinking about how I'm going to do my business, delivering. You understand? You could just go outside these days. You can buy fish right at your doorstep. You can buy produce right at your doorstep. It gives us the opportunity to embrace change rather than to respond negatively to the uncertainty, because change is difficult for us. We like to be in our comfort zone, but change is really the only thing that is going to fulfill us. Positive change, and even when the negative happens, for us to be able to activate those resources within us, the strength. Look at all the mothers out there with children. When they had that child, they said to themselves, oh my God, that's a big responsibility. And then later on they realize how much patience they have. That is a resource. Developing that patience and that love for that child unconditionally, finding ways to make ends meet. I was saying recently, Cokes and Jessie, sometimes we like to compare, and that too can make a situation more difficult for us. So we might compare ourselves to our neighbor or our family member who, let's say, has much more than us, who has a job more than us. And there are people who have $1,000 and there's somebody who has $10. And that person with $10, because they know it's only $10 they have, they are able to make that stretch beyond comprehension. And you with the $1,000 wondering how that person is doing it, because you finish all your $1,000 because of your state of living. Whereas this person has $10, they grow their backyard garden, they go and do a few extra hours, extra jobs, they start selling things at home. They start making some ice lollies and selling some other things from their home. They come together, and more people in the household, so that you don't have that much rent to pay. So you find that if we cannot compare ourselves to others and just compare ourselves to ourselves, it can reduce our anxiety and help us to look at the COVID-19 situation with more strength, with more practicality, because sometimes we want things to be the way it was, and that can make it more difficult to cope. And don't forget, high levels of stress, high levels of noradrenaline in the blood and cortisol in the blood, right, can reduce your immunity. It can reduce, so just like you say, you exercise, the exercise will boost up the endorphins that will bring down the cortisol to help you to fight, generally fight infections. So controlling your stress levels in a positive way can help you to face the situation in a more practical, level-headed. But it doesn't mean that you would not get sad, you wouldn't cry. I've cried during this situation.
Just managing.
You know, it's just to be able to manage and accept yourself, accept what you can and cannot do, and try to shift the focus so that you can live this moment right now. That's my favorite thing to say.
And but still on the topic, I don't mean to digress, you know, in terms of us becoming focused. What I'm about to say is anecdotal, but I was speaking to somebody and they were saying that they've never been so attentive to Parliament. You know, they've never been so attentive to GIS. You know, so it's brought so many other things into focus, even on a societal level, of us paying attention to some of the ordinances and so on. You know, you're aware of what's happening. You know, and you find people in groups perhaps wanting to be the first to know. Well, no, the state of emergency starts today or tomorrow. Or the liquor license has been lifted on such and such dates. You know, everybody's become so more specific about things. You know, and I think that's helping too in the whole coping process that you mentioned.
Yes, because, I love that point, because we're more informed and we become more involved in our country.
It's like, without cutting you short, is it as a result of us seeing the necessity to spend more time together, or having that time available? Because ordinarily you would have been out, ordinarily everywhere would have been opened up, but now you find yourself confined at home, maybe working from home with the family.
Well, you have the threat of COVID-19.
You know, so you are there. So at the end of the day, are we saying, I am assuming the need for making time for ourselves. I remember speaking to one of the persons we interview here. I cannot recall who exactly, but what came up was, we find ourselves in a society right now, people are get up and go.
Right.
Mom has to go to work, daddy has to work, children goes to school. Daddy came back, he has a meeting, mommy has a meeting the following day, children have sports the following day. So it's almost on a basis of in, out. I see you, bye, I see you in the night, come back, sleep, come, and it's a routine. But then making time for the family, coming together and spending that much needed time.
I think it's both. I think even if persons, I think being home and having the time together, that threat with COVID-19, keeping persons at home means you have more time. But I think more importantly, the threat that COVID-19 presents have people more interested in what is happening at GIS, what the news is saying, that even if they're back at work, now they know the social media links, you understand, they will be checking in, perhaps not as much as if they were home, but more so than they did before. Because now, people even know, like, the way that even the telephone raised the awareness. You know, you could watch GIS on so many different platforms, and perhaps people wouldn't have known that before, because they are interested in their survival. COVID-19 pose a threat to your survival, so you need to know what the government is doing, what the health professionals are doing, what the school is doing. And so I think that's why mainly people are tuning in.
Dernière question, Jessie, avant moi que nous voulons parler about ça fait tabac les jours bout moi. Là il vient pour société nous, commune nous avons un chai réaction là il vient pour nom. Quand il lance quoi un homme, moi c'est un homme. Moi ni pour tout bout quoi un homme. Nom pas supposé héler ou ka di héler sou ni pour héler. Nom pas supposé paix, nom pas supposé comme ça il dit madame moi doudou moi en vérité moi paix là tellement man travail et ou ka di ay parler ban monde. Ça prend un bail en société nous especially cette liste qui a fait plus gros en place l'autre pays nous ka tout ça qui a fait là et encore moins les monde comprendre ça qui a fait là pas du temps nous ka chiller nous dans état de secours nous ni pandémie Covid là question c'est en parmi tout ça moun ni sentiment yo toujours moun ka senti perwez moun pas financier côté yo y kon bagay kon nous pas mettre attention là mais qui ça ka dit by nom les vini pour ça parce que quand il nom c'est garçon moi ni kay boire des boire fini puis ça qui manière na ya de ça garçon moi c'est un homme na dit madame moi père et ben vini déjà moi garçon moi père là tellement so dans société nous il pas yon koto ka we nom ka vini dit oui ouvert parler pour dire vérité moi père ma avec moi kay vle soulagement qui ça conseil que kay bay nom qui dort là qui a senti qu'on parce que nous pas ka ça ka fait
nom
c'est qu'on nous fait nous nom
so strength when you say strength nom aime pour faire quoi yo akodi focus asu kuwai mais strength is strength, emotional strength. It is strength that will allow you to open up and speak to somebody, not weakness. So for the men, I think they need to look at it differently. That when you open up to somebody and you share your heart and you express your weakness, it is a sign of strength because you are exercising a certain amount of wisdom to access support and to get some resources, whether it be from that person, through the advice they give you, or through the listening air, through the release. For instance, men like to exercise on a positive note of coping with stress. A man would want to go and just sweat it off and run it off and play some football and basketball, work it off, you know, pump some iron. They love to do that. So they're releasing their stress through the exercise. And if they can relate it to opening up too, that they are releasing their mind and their body. They're releasing their mind when they let it out to somebody that is trustworthy, or they can just let it out because it's built up inside, just like the tension when you stress. That tension is built up your mind. Sometimes you have a headache, sometimes behind there's tense. Sometimes you're exhausted, you go exercise and you feel much better. It's the same choice you can make as it relates to sharing your burden with Jesse or going to a partner of yours and sharing your burden with him and just leaving it be, because you know that you have nourished your soul, you have, you know, relieved, you're doing it for yourself. So it's a sign of strength that I want to express for the men. On that note, we have the situation with alcohol consumption, tobacco. These are some of the ways that a lot of us cope with the anxiety, the fear, the inability to feel like you're relaxing. Sometimes you get that feeling like I cannot relax. You feel irritable. You feel like an extra sense of you cannot focus, like you make a lot more mistakes than before, like your mind is preoccupied, or you start feeling a lot of pain. All this could be a sign of increased amount of stress. So the quick fix is to put down a shot, you understand, of liquor, or to drink a whole glass of bottle of wine.
Puff, puff. You
know, or to just take that cigarette, because the thing that the tobacco does is that instant relief that a lot of the tobacco smokers feel. It's like almost instant in terms of the nerves, calming the nerves and providing that nicotine boost. So you find that it is very difficult to quit. That's why we're encouraging persons to just not start.
Yes.
Because it's so addictive, and the risk, as you said, it's like it's not just a correlation. There's a direct cause to cancer, and And every single body, including your sexual performance, can be negatively impacted by cigarette smoking, because your arteries and where the blood's supposed to flow to get down there can be compromised.
We're just going to stick a pin in that. We're due for another break. When we come back, we talk more with Naomie Grandison, the Family Life Educator at the Bureau of Health, on the World No Tobacco Day. We already started getting into that. And when we come back, we will talk more about it. The Ministry of Health's position on the use of tobacco and the focus this year, the global observance on young persons, getting young persons to not even start the use of tobacco. Stay tuned.
Hello everybody, the secret is out.
What could that secret be?
We're starting a smoke-free generation with you.
You, and you. May 31st is World No Tobacco Day all over the world.
The Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat of the Department of Health and Wellness wants everyone
to live well,
healthy, and long.
Wow! Let's join this movement. Say no to smoking. Inhaling any kind of smoke is bad for your health.
Don't use any electronic cigarettes.
Don't smoke in public places or workplaces. Parfime, trail.
Let's make every day World No Tobacco Day.
This message is brought to you by the Substance Abuse Advisory Council Secretariat and this station.
My angels in disguise.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you're just joining us, a special welcome to you. We're in our final segment of this morning's COVID-19 response report. Among the top stories, Parliament approves the extension of the state of emergency up till the 30th of September. That's for the next 4 months. Also, 31st May will be observed, that Sunday will be observed as World No Tobacco Day. And in studio we have the Family Life Educator from the Bureau of Health, Miss Naomie Grandison. She's been speaking to us, among other things, World No Tobacco Day. And just before we went to break, we started getting into it, you know, the importance of staying away from things that reduce our ability to fight off virus and fight off sickness and disease. Can you just speak to reinforce that point, you know, at this time, especially as we're dealing with COVID-19?
Right. So we make different choices to help us cope with problems or stress levels or anxiety, and one of those, as I was saying, would be the tobacco use. And we're advocating from the Ministry of Health perspective for people to be mindful of how much of a negative impact this particular substance is having on your body. Because if there's a fire at your home and you decide, okay, let me pour some more wood into the fire, add kerosene to the fire, it is only going to magnify the problem of your life. Sometimes we may feel that the instant gratification you get from taking in that substance is worth more at that moment, but sometimes we have to look at the consequences down the line, because I've seen people, the health condition, that inability to contain their urine, that the cancer, the suffering, c'est pas do it you are go dead. People like to say do it you are go dead, don't do it you are go dead. C'est pas mort, c'est manière ou ka mort dele. Dele ou ka mort pour whole l'année ou à so couche ka mort. Ek femme ou ka souffre et puis so the way we think do it you are go dead, don't do it you are go dead, we sometimes think things don't happen to us, whereas there's this substance which has a direct link, and it's going to affect your arteries, your cholesterol. It affects nearly every single organ in the body, and it is directly related to the cancer, and that is the #1 killer in St. Lucia right now, cancer. So we're encouraging persons to be mindful of even starting it, because nicotine is so addictive. Now, if you have already started, herein lies the challenges. And with the young people which we are trying to target, we're reconsidering them becoming more aware, educating themselves about their voice, how important their voice is, right? Because it's a collective. Young people are so important in effecting change in society and the culture. And if they are to take the stand to make better choices for themselves, or to influence an environment in the country that will facilitate less use of tobacco, an environment that will facilitate less open air, smoking overall, then they will take a stance, not just from a position personally, not just, okay, McAfee, but how can I create an environment where it's not easy for persons to use tobacco.
And speaking of the focus on youth who are heavily influenced by pop culture and so on, we haven't seen its prevalence here on island, vaping, as well as the use of the hookah. But, just looking at, the videos and following your celebrities on social media, on Instagram, fearing the worst that persons adopt, and it becomes a common thing for persons to use the e-cigarette here in St. Lucia. Can you just speak towards the discouragement of such?
I think it has been promoted as safe, and there have been several campaigns geared towards children in terms of the billboards and the advertisements. And I have been watching some documentaries that indicate that the substance itself, the nicotine within the vapor, e-cigarettes and stuff, are contributing negatively to the mental health and emotional health, particularly of young people, because their brain is still developing. And so you find that when these television ads and these movies and all these things are glamorizing it, it becomes more acceptable because you're like, okay, I'm not getting the quote-unquote smoke, right? And so it becomes easier for you to take it lightly. And as a child, it's easier for a young person, an adolescent, to overdo things.
Experiment.
Experimental stage.
Yes.
So we need to be also mindful of the things that appear to be safer. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you could just speak to, just at this time, just in general, you know, our continued response to COVID-19. The Parliament has approved the extension, and we spoke briefly on it when you came on, you know, but just going forward, since we've had you on, we've been talking about, you know, the protocols, the measures, and it almost comes off as hopping now, you know, but we really want to get the message across, you know, that in order for us to, as we continue to coexist with COVID-19, we need to take these aspects seriously. And I've seen much of the population being, you know, adhering, you know, and being obedient to the ordinances. But if you could just reinforce that aspect.
Yeah, I just want to implore persons that, as we know, the threat is not gone. And it is what we do that is going to facilitate our safety and the safety of our children, the safety of the elderly, the safety of those who have chronic conditions. And there are a number of populations in the world that, because of the type of population they have, they are experiencing increasing numbers of COVID-19 after the numbers have gone down. So we continue to encourage persons to wash and sanitize your hands frequently. We continue to encourage persons to eat better. I think that point is, we need to have that down. Eat more fruits, eat more vegetables, drink more water, to do things that will help to boost your system. We continue to encourage persons that in public places, places where you have to go, where there are people in businesses, to wear your mask and wear it properly, to get an understanding of how a mask should fit, you know, snugly and with less spaces also under the chin, and to avoid touching your mask. And if you do, to sanitize or wash your hands soon after. Avoid touching the front of the mask, only applied via the air loops or the ties. We encourage persons to maintain a physical distance of at least 6 feet when they are out, to be mindful of that distance, because even as somebody speaks or shouts, you have the droplets traveling. You understand? And even if somebody is talking to you and they don't have a mask, if they speak, sometimes even some of the droplets can linger and some of them can find their way through your mask. So if both people wear their mask, your droplets will be contained when you wear your mask, and the other person's droplets. So we need to all take responsibility that we are helping ourselves too, and we are also helping each other when we go out there in public, to continue to act responsibly and not take it lightly, not just in public but in communities, because communities do have their shops, communities do have areas where people frequent. So we want persons to be mindful that they should still undertake these practices within the community, the washing of the hands and wearing of the mask, and the social physical distancing. These are some of the key things that we want to bring to the fore.
Especially as we reopen our country too, you know, things as simple as, you know, being in an office. If you work in perhaps a financial institution, you're just sitting at your desk, you know, just remembering to observe all of the protocols as they pertain to you.
And then we do have the protocols on the website, right? That the companies can look at to see what they need to do in terms of sanitizing, allowing the staff to be at a certain distance away from each other, and all these other protocols. Please go on to the COVID-19 response.lc to get further information on that. Puis nous pour really continue précaution, right? Puis précaution c'est just pas pour COVID-19, c'est généralement pour toute respiratory illness. Puis là moi faire research, where even before COVID-19, you take a demon, le yo ni a bagay called flu, et que yo a parmi moun pour mettre a mask. even before COVID-19, the health professionals, when you go into the hospital, depending on what they do, when they're handling your body weight or whatever, when they're around you and you have certain symptoms, they would wear their mask. They do an operation, they would wear their mask, which means that we understand the benefit of wearing it to a certain extent. We understand the discomfort. You know, honestly, I want us to be real about the discomfort too. And for people to be able to strike a balance. If they are away from persons, they can remove it and put it back when they go back in. So a lot of persons have been concerned, you know, about how they feel. And I want to say that I empathize. And I think it's to be conscientious of how you handle a mask and what you do when you take it out. You could place it in a plastic bag, remove it, and remember to wash your mask at the end of the day after use, because it is a surface, moist surface, that is droplets would be resting on.
Et puis, oui, merci tellement pour ça. Moi, bien content de toucher à sous affaire masque là, parce que moi, c'est yon qui toujours qu'a dit, l'œil vini pour moun qui servi masque là, compagnie moun ni a comme si c'est un toys.
Right.
Ou kay moun ka met en bas maton yo, kay moun des yo ni en les fonds yo, juste condition avec moi content de laver masque là. Parce qu'en compagnie de nous nan masque avec l'état masque là, c'est comme si nous même ka mener problème ba yon kon nous kay fait kon nous malade. Qu'a fait ça quand ça c'est un bon bagay là où dit laver masque là sous ka chile ça qu'a fait bon matin nous qu'a parler bay mademoiselle Naomie et Grandison il ja venu ici avant et puis nous bien content pour nous qu'a parler à sous différents chaque différents matières parmi eux hatan là venu pour manière moun kay mouché satisfaction et ben si yo pas content qu'on venu pour état de secours manière ou même ka manager situation pendant ou caillou là vini pour pandémique Covid là parmi l'autre bagaille quand il ban nous chaque information et yon nan ces bagaille là kay ça nous rapporter en là bon matin c'est là vini pour les 31 mai bout mois nous observer juste ça qu'on jour pour moun pas servir tabac. Ça c'est yon jour tous les l'année à ce jour date ça yo commandé moun en ek soit ou ça observer juste ça qu'on jour pour pas servir rien qui ni pour faire puis tabac l'année ça yo ka mettre en chaque attention et puis yo ka ban chaque information là il vini pour dommage là il ka fait pour foie en dedans là au fumer et pas ça seulement yo ka met attention à présent ka tout patois sur télévision et puis c'est artiste là puis c'est grand monde et yo ni en bail ka fumer anti électronique yo ka crier vaping en anglais et là nan l'autre ka yo y en dedans fiole et yo ka fumer dans bagay qui ni vapeur. Ou comprendre que ces bagages ça avant manière yo te ka mouche avertissement c'est comme si doit c'est un bagage qui pas kay fort rien mais quand nous te bien rapporter bon matin kay ouais là nan chay étude qui a fait qui ka mouche ça ka dommager foi quand c'est raison nous ni mademoiselle Naomie ici et puis c'est yon qui ka avec bureau santé que là vini pour ka indiquer moun sous affaire famille indiquer moun en général mais yon a ces bail là moi kay bien content où on est touché un petit akasoui c'est là vini pour situation pandémique Covid là et nous ka attendre protocole ça pour faire raison de yo ka mandé moun sou ou santé ni piècine pour entrer et puis ça c'est on a c'est ba le ka di moun sou santé ou tousser mais changer nous une saison flou moi pénanti malade quand on ka di moi si moi senti pièce manière pour qui ça moi dans clinique c'est ba yo chebe moi c'est ba yo même isolation pour qui ça yo ka bay moun conseil ça
puis non ni pour really pour précaution we have to recognize that there may still be an instance of people having the COVID-19 and some people not wanting to come in simply because they feel everything is well. Some people may, although we're moving out of the flu season, we want persons to understand that the respiratory clinics are available and the testing is available. So why not check yourself before you actually have the virus and you can end up spreading it unbeknownst to you. So we want people to come in and that's how we contain the virus. Yeah. I also want to say, because I know I'm not sure if we're going to be, how much longer we're going to be. I just want to add to even the emotional aspect of preventing the spread of COVID-19 is to manage your stress levels, because we recognize that increased stress levels can lead to an increase of cortisol in the blood, which can reduce your immunity. Sometimes we forget that aspect. So I just want to also say that to prevent the spread, as Carlton indicated, to monitor those symptoms, those cough, the coughing, the fever, the sore throat, the sneezing, and some people experience headache. Recently, the chief medical officer indicated losing your sense of smell also. So we want people to monitor their symptoms and be not afraid to check at the respiratory clinics around the island and be open to receiving the care. Persons, you know, if they have the condition, can be treated. We've had an excellent rate in terms of recovery. So please be welcomed. And also, before entering your home, try to remove your shoes, little things like that. Wash your hands as soon as you come in, because I'm sure the COVID-19 will help us to prevent a lot of other infectious diseases. Because if we develop those habits, when we enter our house, what we do and what we tell people to do, it will offer us the opportunity to become healthy overall. So for just, you know, live like this, live aware. You understand? And as things become better, we know maybe the social distancing and all these things perhaps might change, but we need to remain vigilant as of now and continue to adhere to the protocol to protect ourselves and others.
Stay woke.
Stay woke.
We're just rounding up the program for today. Mr. Grandison, thank you so much for your time.
Yes,
and Family Life Educator there from the Bureau of Health, just speaking to us on the heels of the extension of the state of emergency. If you're just joining, if you're not sure what's going on, Parliament approved. We've gotten the go-ahead for the state of emergency being extended to the 30th of September. Just speaking to us on some of the anxieties that may be in the hearts and minds of St. Lucians at this time, going forward as we reopen our country and still proceed with being very vigilant in response to COVID-19. Also, to Sunday being observed as a World No Tobacco Day, and the focus being on young persons, not even starting the use of tobacco, as Ms. Grandison did mention. And the nicotine is very addictive, and especially at this time of COVID-19, you know, you want to keep your immunity as high as possible, and things like smoking tobacco reduces your health, it affects your immunity, and so increases your chances of contracting, among other viruses and diseases, COVID-19. Just wrapping up, just want to give you some quick bulletin information. We have the breaking ground of the commencement of a project. This project is the shock housing development, and the government of St. Lucia broke ground on that project just yesterday. And just to give you some back information, in 2018 the government took the policy decision to enter into public-private partnerships with local contractors to help create business opportunities while addressing the shortage of housing in St. Lucia. Now, to begin this process, a few weeks later, the Housing Minister, the Honorable Guy Joseph, hosted the first ever housing conference, bringing together local construction firms. And if you're wondering what you're seeing on the screen, it is the vision outlay of what the shock housing development project will look like. And to continue, the first ever housing conference was held, bringing together local construction firms and stakeholders to discuss the new collaboration under this policy decision to engage public-private partnerships with local contractors. The conference, the local businesses were presented with 11 sites around the island, which the National Housing Corporation, along with the government, were earmarked for national housing projects. And these sites include Choc, La Clery, Rockhall, Talverne, Bel Air, Bois-Joli, Angers, La Richousse, River Doré, and Canneries. Under the policy, local construction companies would be supported by the government of St. Lucia by providing access to the land, duty-free concessions, administrative support, and other forms of incentives provided under the Act. The developer would in turn bear the financial cost for putting the relevant infrastructure up and construction of the homes. Now, this development you're seeing, the shock housing development, It will deliver 250 lots for residential and commercial purposes. In the coming weeks, the government of St. Lucia also looks forward to breaking ground for the Talvern housing development, which will be an affordable housing project providing more jobs for our skilled workers and opportunities for local businesses. Now, should you be interested in perhaps owning one of those properties, you can contact the National Housing Corporation for more details. More capital works are going on. Infrastructural works, Spring Road rehabilitation project in Micoud South is fully underway, and since assuming office in 2016, the government of St. Lucia made the rehabilitation of roads and bridges, the construction of new roads and potholing, among with other construction works of footpaths and pathways, a major priority. A major part of this infrastructure rehabilitation and construction program, which is currently in progress, includes the largest road rehabilitation project in our island's history. The government of St. Lucia is proud to share the Spring Road rehabilitation project in Micoud South, and that is fully underway right now. We also have the completion of works at the Jack Mill Field. Also, work on the Vanna Field has commenced, and also the Blackstone Road rehabilitation project continues to progress. So that is just a status update on capital projects. As stated by the government of St. Lucia, the Honorable Prime Minister, under the Social Stabilization Plan, it is also a part of the medium-term development strategy of the government of St. Lucia, as we try to stimulate the economy at a time when our lifeline tourism is not doing so well. So we will be providing you with a status update going forward every week or so as to how these capital projects are coming along. But big news coming there, the breaking ground for the commencement of the shock housing development that is on stream, and hopefully we get some more word from the Ministry of Housing on that work, that ongoing work. Again, our time is running out, but we'd like to thank you so much for tuning in. This has been another COVID-19 response report coming from the Information Command Center at the GIS studios. Parliament approves the extension of the state of emergency. Sunday will be observed as World No Tobacco Day. We've had the development, the breaking ground of the commencement of the shock housing development, and of course Spring Road rehabilitation, as well as the Jack Mill Field being complete, the Vanna Field commencing rehabilitation, and the Blackstone Road rehabilitation project continuing to progress. It's all the time we have for now. My name is Jessie Leonce. On behalf of Carlton Cyril and the rest of the production team, special thanks to Naomie Grandison. We do hope you have an enjoyable day, what's left of it, and we'll see you tomorrow morning as we look back on the week that was. Goodbye.